Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. And thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I almost asked myself, who in the world is he talking about? Your paycheck is on the way, sir. I mean, good gracious. Well, good morning, Florida. It's good to see each and every single one of you in the morning. And, hopefully you're having an incredible month. Hopefully you're looking forward to some great things to come out of this month as we move into next month. And, I'm going to talk really quickly about untrapping yourself. Okay. You want to untrap yourself. There are three questions you got to ask yourself, family. Number one, what is your why? Right? Why are you here in Legal Shield? Okay. What is it that Legal Shield can help you accomplish? Some people say, why stands for what hurts you. What is hurting you? What is your why? What is it that you want? Okay. And then I want you to ask yourself this question, what's going to help you achieve your why? What's going to help you achieve your why? Is your job going to help you achieve your why? Or, maybe you have a side gig, maybe you're driving Uber, maybe you're driving Lyft, or whatever the case may be. Is that going to help you accomplish your why, your goals, your dreams? Or do you believe that Legal Shield is the vehicle to produce the cash to fund your dream, to help you live the lifestyle that you always wanted? You see, these are the questions you got to ask yourself. And if you know what your why is, right, and you know that your job isn't necessarily going to get you there, and you know that any other side gig or so that you have isn't going to get you there, and you believe that Legal Shield is the vehicle to produce the cash to fund your dream, then I'm going to tell you this: you have got to be, in Phoenix, Arizona, no doubt about it, right? Whether you decide to hop on a plane, whether you decide to get on there virtually, it is imperative that you get there, okay? Because here's what I can tell you, okay? The big event is where big time decisions are made. The big event is where this business goes from your head to your heart. The big event is where you get a chance to see the big picture. You get a chance to see people who you can relate to. You get a chance to realize that, this business, it doesn't matter, whether you're white, black, Puerto Rican, Chinese. It doesn't matter whether you've got a high education of a PhD or you down to a GED. Everyone can have success. You're going to find people who are blind walking across the stage as new executive directors. You're going to find people who are deaf, can't speak, walking across the stage, as new executive directors. You're going to find people who are from foreign countries and don't even speak English, right? Very well, crossing the stage as executive directors. You're going to see people who went through some impossible things to earn their rings. You're going to find people who, just make you just say to yourself, oh my gosh, what is my excuse? How come I'm not where I need and want to be? And so I'm telling you, it's just going to be an amazing event. I remember going to my very first convention, and I was fortunate. I went to my first convention as an executive director, okay? And I never forget going to the ED Gala, getting a chance to experience that and rub shoulders with the who of who's and, get a chance to hear from some of the top people in the industry or in our company at the time, getting a chance to hear from great guest speakers. Speaking of great guest speakers, guess what? Mr. Eric Thomas is going to be there, AKA the hip hop preacher. The hip hop preacher is going to be there. Understand this. People spend $5, $10, $15, $20,000 to go sign up for this gentleman's class just to learn from him for a few hours. And we get a chance to spend $99, $59 to get there. I mean, now many of you know who this gentleman is because many of us watch his motivational videos and stuff like that on YouTube. And so I'm just saying, you never know what can happen, okay? You might even get a chance to meet this gentleman, right? I've had people on my team who got a chance to meet Grant Cardone, got photos with them. I got a few folks on my team who got a chance to meet Damon John, right? And got photos with them. Matter of fact, so much so, it was a young lady's birthday on my call, young ladies on my team. And it's funny because some way, somehow, Damon John remembered taking a photo with her because he saw her somewhere and he actually calls her. And she was like stoked. I'm just saying, you never know what's going to happen. And you never know what you're going to learn. Here's what I can tell you. Anyone who's at this event will be 6 months to a year ahead of the learning curve, okay? This is the big time event. You can't You might be saying to yourself, I can't afford to be there. I'm going to tell you this, you can't afford not to be there, okay? If this is your way out, if you believe that, again, Legal Shield is the vehicle to produce the cash, to fund your dream, to help you break generational curses, to help you get to where you need and want to be, then you can't afford not to be there. You got to do everything in your power to make sure that you are there. And I'll say this, whether you decide to go there in person or whether you decide to go there virtually, okay? I understand this, there's no excuses right now. Some may say, well, I don't have the extra money to do it. Well, guess what? The great thing about Legal Shield is we get to create money out of thin air, right? Don't you love that? You know, we have a product and a service that everyone needs and everyone can afford. All we've got to do is invite somebody, right? Invite somebody to go ahead and hop on one of our opportunity Zoom calls. You know, we have, I'm sure every organization has a daily opportunity Zoom call, if not every day, a few times a week. All you got to do is invite somebody out there, do a three-way phone call, and voila, we can get them signed up, and you can go ahead and get what? You can go ahead and get paid, and that money can go towards the convention, okay? And so you want to make sure that you're there. Now, it's one thing to be there yourself. It's another thing to be there with your team. You see, that's the name of the game. They say the person who gets the most people to the big event is the one who has the biggest momentum. That's the person who goes executive director. That's the person who gets their $50,000 ring, their six-figure ring and above, right? There's the people who are there with them. You can't just go to the conference yourself. You can't just say, yay, I'm registered. No, who's coming with you, right? John C. Maxwell says, look, if no one is following you, then you're leading no one. You want to make sure that you're leading people. You want to make sure that you're picking the phone up. You're inspecting what you expect. You got to find out who's coming to the event and who hasn't made a decision to come to the event yet. And here's the deal. You know, those who say, well, I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if I'm going to go. You've got to make that call. You've got to tell them why they need to be there. You know, they need to know that they know. They need to know that when they get to this event, they're going to learn some incredible things. They're going to be able to apply what they're learning to their businesses. And now they'll be able to have more, do more, be more, and help other people do the same. And so you can't just be there yourself. You got to set a goal, right? So maybe your goal is, I'm going to have 5 people there. I'm going to have 10 people there, 20 people there, 30 people there, 50 people there, right? 100 people there. Here's what I know. You get 100 people to the conference. Guess what? You'll make a 6-figure income, no doubt about it. Now, I personally, honestly, I've never had 100 people at the big event, and we were still able to make 6 figures. What would happen if you just decided to get a few people out there, right? I want to say the most I've probably had is about 25, close to 30. And I'll probably have about 30, 35 people this time around at the international conference. And I would say that 85% of them are coming live. They're coming in person, okay? And so here's the deal. You've got to make a decision, okay? You've got to make a decision. You've got to pick up the phone. You've got to want to get somebody to the conference like a doctor wants to save a patient and make sure that they sustain that person's life. That's how vital this thing is. And we oftentimes hear the story from when Mr. Michael Humes calls Mr. Darnell Self and says, hey, you know, they told me that if I decided to take some time off to go to that little Legal Shield fundraiser thing, you know, I mean, I'm not going to come back to a job and I'll be suspended without pay. And Mr. Self said, look, you can't afford not to be there. He says, look, you got to be there. So ultimately, Mr. Humes decides that he's going to go ahead and take a leap of faith, okay? And he comes to the event. He says, you take some different kind of notes when everything is on the line. But guess what? He comes back, they suspended him, and he retired them for life. Just saying, family, these things happen. So the last convention, right, that took place in April, okay, the company comes together and say, hey, due to CDC guidelines, we can't all get together. And so we're going to do it virtually. And, you know, my wife and I are like, you know what, we need to get our team together. We could sense that we need to get our team together. And so we got our team together and we had about 30 of our leaders who came down to Virginia. Some came as far as South Carolina, you know, Georgia came down. We had Maryland come down, all over the place, right? Probably at least 6 different states, okay? And everybody came and we spent 3 glorious days together and it was glorious, I'm telling you, okay? And we rented a beach house. It was a 3-story house, 6,000 square feet. And it was just amazing. We had the whole thing catered, had a gourmet chef cater the whole thing, all 3 days, okay? So we had a young lady who came out. And this, of course, we know the conference was April the 16th and April the 17th, okay? The 18th, we had a barbecue, and the 19th, everybody went home. So we had a young lady. Her name was Benita Cruz. Benita Cruz was a manager at the time. Benita Cruz says to herself, man, I don't know if I really even want to come to this event. She's talking herself out of it, but mind you, she had committed that she was coming. And we made sure everybody registered for that event as well, okay? So we didn't let people who weren't registered come and hang out and watch the stream. No, you got to pay your dues. You got to pay to play. So we made sure everybody was registered. So she was registered, but she's like, I don't know if I even want to come, okay? And so she gets in the car. She says she's driving 30 minutes down the street, and she says, yeah, she said she almost turned around, but she knew she could never, ever look us in the eye again and say that, you know, she could never look at us in the eye and say, give us her word at something again. So she came. She was a manager on the 16th of April, a manager on the 17th of April, a manager on the 18th. On the 19th was, by the way, when everybody left. She had 10 days, 10 days. So between the 19th and the 30th of April, she goes from manager to senior director. I can't make this stuff up. Guess what? The following month, she goes executive director. Guess what? The following month, she goes bronze executive director. All because she got inspired. She got fired up. This business went from her head to her heart. We became a family. She understood that, look, you know, this is the place to be. But guess what? The young lady who came to the beach house as well was only maybe 4 months in the business at the time. And she got fired up and inspired, okay? And then she goes director that month or the following month. The following month from there, she goes executive director. She's been an executive director every single month, solidifying Benita Cruz as a bronze ED 90 days in a row. They've never, both of them have never fallen out of ED. But guess what? There was another young lady who came from South Kakalaki. You know, she came with her husband, and her husband had some doubts about the business, but he realized even prior to the conference, like, yo, this lady's getting checks every single day almost. I mean, I can't make this up. She's making $4,400, you know, a month, part-time, spare time, anytime, working, you know, about 12 hours for the United States government as a GS-14, okay? And those of you who know what a GS-14 is, that's pretty high ranking because there's only like 2 levels above that. And so here's the deal. You're a GS-10, I see. But I want you to think about this, okay? So she comes to the event, her husband gets fired up, she gets fired up, and guess what? She becomes an executive director. But guess what? Another young lady who recruited that young lady, Linda Texiera, was at the time a dangerous director. Or a matter of fact, she had gone maybe, you know, senior director. She had gone senior director, but never been above that, okay? She gets fired up. She goes executive director. And then guess what? Because Linda went ED, she's now bronze, which helped another young lady who I personally sponsored go silver. So, I mean, we broke like 4 or 5 new senior directors coming. I can't make this stuff up. And I'm telling you, not only did it fire everyone who was there up, but even the people who didn't come to the conference got fired up, and the whole team exploded as a result of that. The big event is where big time decisions are made, okay? And so what I'm saying, family, is I need you to draw a line in the sand. I need you to make a decision. Whether you decide to fly out there, you can take a bus, train, or airplane. You can decide to start walking right now. You might make it in time. If not, get the virtual ticket and make sure you're there, and make sure that your team is there. That's just all I'm saying, family. Get your team out to the big event, because you will thank us later. You know, they're going to get fired up. They're going to get wound up, and then they're going to go. Not to mention, we have this amazing new compensation plan that's being released. You know, I can't wait for October 1. You know, there are going to be some new incentives and performance club, you know, new performance club incentives and things of that nature are all going to come out. You can't afford not to be there. Now, I'm probably preaching to the choir here. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Gonzalez, you know, I see some super sharp people. I see Jimmy over here. He's at everything. I see my good friend, Alicia Dukes here. She's always at everything. And of course, you know, you've got Mr. Daniel Gonzalez, and there's some of you who I recognize, okay? So I'm probably preaching to the choir. But here's what I'm saying. Check your list. Check it twice. If you don't have at least 10 to 20 people on your team attending this event, then that means that we're not doing a good enough job promoting. Promote. Tell people why they want to be there. I promise you, you'll never, ever, ever worry about, qualifying ED again. You'll never worry about getting your ring again, because you're going to have so many people moving in the right direction that they're going to help you get there. And then your team's going to get fired up because of that. And then they're going to want to strive to get there too. And you'll find yourself and your team growing by leaps and bounds. And that's how this whole thing is done. So a word to the wise, as they say, is enough. Get to the big event, get your team to the big event, and watch it form a chain reaction of success for you and your business. And with that, sir, I turn it back over to you, Mr. Gonzalez. Thank you so much for allowing me to share. Back over to you.